Methods of Biotechnology is a lab-based class that covers the fundamentals of biology and then incorporates it into modern technology. This class will prepare you for biological sciences, so fields like medicine, genetics, microbiology, and personally it's already helped me so much in upper-level bio classes, so I'm excited that I have it under my belt going into college for health sciences. And personally, my favorite part about this class is all the awesome labs. The first lab we did was testing for organic compounds within substances. We tested them for starch, lipids, simple sugars, and proteins because each of those substances has unique characteristics to detect them in lab. And we were even given unknown substances where we had to identify the type of organic compound it contains. The next lab was called Curl Meets World. So using our knowledge of protein denaturation, Mrs. Edmeyer had us all come up with procedure to chemically curl a strand of hair and get it to stay curled. Next, we learned how to micropipette. As you can see, we practiced pipetting different amounts of liquid onto wax paper, and she really made sure that we were comfortable with this before moving on to the next lab where we also utilized it. Next up was the ELISA lab, so we detected antibodies in a given sample. We were given a case study, so in our particular lab, we were looking for antibodies for Lyme disease, and we also performed an antibody titer in which we were able to measure how much antibody was made up for the particular epitope, which was the Lyme disease. Hello, and on this next episode of Biotechnology, we are typing our blood. So we were able to do a blood typing lab, so we each pricked our own fingers to figure out our own blood types. I feel this is what makes biotech so cool, is the fact that you're able to make personal connections to what you're learning. So another cool thing about Mrs. Edmeyer's room is that she has Wi-Fi compound microscopes, so you can connect your phone to the microscope so you can display what was under the scope on your phones. So here's a few different cool things that we got to look at under the scope, and once we looked at them under the scope, we performed some research to figure out what we were looking at. The next lab was a gel electrophoresis lab, so it used an electric current and an agarose gel, and we were able to separate the macromolecules in different colored dyes, and it separated them based on their size and their shape. So in this lab, we ran the gel with 5 known dyes and 3 unknown dyes, so then we were able to compare them and identify the unknown dyes. We learned how to gram stain bacteria, which is a technique where stains are added to a slide with heat-fixed bacteria, and then the color of the bacteria after staining reveals information about the cell wall of the bacteria, which is then used to identify the bacteria. And we also learned a lot about aseptic technique, which is avoiding contamination in lab. And techniques like these are crucial in any lab setting to avoid cross-contamination, so it's a super useful skill to have. Then we perform bacterial identification, where we pick something to swab. Personally, I swabbed a door handle, and then we streaked a culture plate, grew the bacteria, and performed bacterial identification, then again using that gram staining technique. The next super cool lab we did was bacterial transformation with P-glow plasmid. So we modified E. coli to glow green under UV light using a whole bunch of different procedures to get the super cool end result of the bacteria glowing green. The last lab we did was a disc diffusion sensitivity test. So we tested sensitivity of bacteria to different antibiotics. So we were able to test whatever substance we desired as our antibiotic. Then we determined which substance worked best at stopping the bacterial growth. As shown in the picture, we use honey, hand sanitizer, and hand soap. Biotech is a super fun and interesting class, and I highly recommend you take this class if you're going into biological sciences because it's going to provide you with a super strong foundation that'll help you succeed.